As Meve neared Langbridge, she ordered her bugler to announce her arrival, then retired to her tent to freshen up. Gascon was already inside, awaiting her.
I do not seem to recall summoning you.
In that case, I must tell you to fret not. Nothing wrong with your memory. I've come with no agenda. Spontaneously, call it, to chat.
Then I propose you leave. Just as spontaneously, call it. I must don fresh clothes. I'm to see the Elder soon, and I'd prefer to not smell of horse sweat.
Doubt it'd make much difference to him. And be assured, I know what I speak of. When last we met, I found myself standing downwind of him. A pungent experience.
My patience is near its end, Gascon. Either state your business, or I shall have the guards escort you out.
Not a hint of a sense of humor. There's something you ought to know.
Well, Hugh saved the experience of his breath. So pungent I thought I might faint.
Well, to revive you, pinch you awake, I'm sure would be quite a pleasure.
Gascon! I beg your pardon. Ugh, I shall have nightmares now.
Not tonight. For I fear you might not sleep at all. You see, there's something you ought to know. And decidedly before you meet with Bruver. The sites we cleared of beasts, I ferreted a bit. Noted something peculiar. Any notion what it was?
None. The monumental dwarven architecture, perhaps?
Bones, my dear Meve. Dwarven bones. Now, guess what I found on them?
Wait, don't dare give me any hints. Bite marks.
Of course. After all, they'd been gnawed clean of all flesh by monsters, incidentally making it quite easy to spot other markings. Ones made by axes and swords. To be certain, I showed the bones to our medics, and they confirmed my conclusion.
Meaning what? That the entire clan, the Fuchses,
did not perish due to an invasion of beasts from the depths. The monsters merely ate the bodies and occupied empty homes. Now, I shared my discovery with Gabor, and guess what he did? He panicked. He started to squirm, babble nonsense. I wager my right arm, he's hiding something.
Blast. Overly eager to aid us from the start he was. I might have sent something. I shall have him summoned at once. And I thank you, Gascon. I won't forget this.
Minutes later, Gabor stood before the Queen. At first, he tried to mislead her with evasive answers, but as her pointed questions demolished one clumsy excuse after another, he had to give in.
Oi. As King Desmond said after a hefty squirt in his hose, we can't sweep this under the rug.
If you think I welcome jests in this moment, you err. My fingers itch to summon the hangman.
Right. So... 'tis true. I misled you. On our clan elder's orders, supposed to make sure you destroyed Burr's Rump and Davor's Abyss thoroughly enough to leave nae a trace.
What? Why? What did they wish to hide?
They was home to the Fuchses, our mortal enemies. They'd been a-boiling our heinies for ages, thumbing their noses, taking what they want, when they want. And the Elder-in-Chief didn't gie a ploughing whit. So to stop them, our clan, we did the unpardonable. The Ziggurin elders saw their chance and they...
Gods. So you were responsible for the deaths of all those dwarves?
Me? I didn't raise a finger. Tried to stop them, in fact.
No witnesses survived, meaning you must have murdered the entire clan. How?
Queen, you sure you...
I am. And you should be sure to answer in full, omitting no detail.
A few years back, we got pummeled by a horrendous winter. Stone-breaking frosts, whiteout storms, avalanches. Made travelling a painful form of suicide. Hunger drove beasts out of their dens. Pass was covered in the filth. Got to where they paced right outside the walls. Fuchses fought a hard, bloody fight to keep the critters out of Davor's Abyss. Lost near every axe-wielding dwarf they had. Only survivors had to winter at Burr's Rump. Our elders felt such an opportunity wouldn't knock again. After killing the town's meagre guard, they set fire to it and barricaded the gates. Didn't stand a chance.
Bastards. How in the world did the truth go undiscovered?
Once it were over, our dwarves opened the gates. Before they'd lit their pipes, starving beasts came crawling out of the pass. The stank of dead flesh was strong. Zigrins who came back from that never were the same. If you'd only gandered their gaze when they had us all take a vow of silence. And then...
You invented that blarney about primeval monstrosities the Fuchses had awoken by mining too deep. A riveting tale, and one with a moral to boot.
Aye. But the elders worried Brewer would suspect something all the same. That's why they wanted you to destroy all the evidence.
Repugnant. You claim not to have taken part, but neither did you do anything to stop the massacre.
What was I to do exactly? The elders had decided. Nae a dwarf would listen to me.
You might have informed the Elder-in-Chief. The guilty would have been punished.
The guilty? You didna ken Brewer. He'd punish the whole clan. Women, children, nae exceptions. Maeve, Queen. I'm begging you. He canna ever learn of this. Aye, I want a hack flame too when I think what the Elder's done. But t'other way it'd bring but more pain and death.
I need to consider what's right. Meanwhile, Gascon, make sure Gabor remains our guest.
Of course. I'll let you know if he so much as rolls his eyes towards an escape route.
You've got a lot of nerve, making requests after lying to me.
Trying to ensure you ken the stakes. But you'll do as you see fit. Like always.
I need to consider what's right. Meanwhile, Gascon, make sure Gabor remains our guest.
Of course. I'll let you know if he so much as rolls his eyes towards an escape route.
Brewer stood by the bridge like a statue, arms crossed, eyes squinting. Maeve sighed inside. She stood little chance of having a pleasant chat.
Elder-in-Chief, sir.
No Sharon and Grayson here, lass. Plowed humans. Always out to fix things, always end up cocking them up. You think you're due glory, do you? Monster Slayer Maeve? Patroness of dwarves? Blast it. What do you think? Why didn't I exterminate those beasts myself, eh? Go on, tell me!
For you...
For I didn't want to. For something didn't fit, damn it. So I resolved to not destroy their nests and evidence till I learned the truth of whodunit.
postponed it all those years expressly. Though your subjects were dying.
I dinna need no lectures from the likes of you. Justice must be served. That's worth any price. And I was close. Had leads. And now it's all gone to hell. You flooded Devor's abyss. You brought Burrow's rump down on itself. And I'll never ken who killed the Fuchses. Understand? Never!
I would not be so sure.
Sure of bloody what?
That you shall never learn the truth. For I learnt it just moments ago. 'Twas the Zigrins who killed the Fuchses.
The Sikrans? But... hold. Aye, it would explain a lot, that. Ah, the snakes! Worms! Rogues! Why, I'll show 'em. All right. Got to admit you've more in that pretty head of yours than I expected. But dinna you start thinking we'll be toasting a new friendship. You want our aid? You'll have to answer our questions. My questions. Lots of them. And they're all hard, so dinna you go smiling at me yet.
Why, I wouldn't dare.
Better not. Right. Time we moved on.
Bruver set off at a brisk pace, paying Meve nor anyone else heed. The Elder's bodyguards rushed after him, then came the Lyrian force, and at its end trudged Gabor Zigrin, hands and feet in shackles.
My sincere apologies. I did not know.
Course you didn't. Humans. First they cock it up, then they ask how it works. Ah, I'm most eager to give that braid of yours a yank and kick you out beyond the gate. But I canna, for the clans are grateful to you. Fools. Fools. All fools. They forced me to give you an audience, official-like, with witnesses, all at the foot of Mount Carbon. Come on then, time to move on. But I'm going to wring you out so hard you'll wish you never left that Nilfgaardian dungeon.
Bruver set off at a brisk pace, cursing under his breath. The Queen took a deep breath, counted to 5 in her head, and set off after him.
Wanted to hunt monsters, eh? Oh, Elder's furious. Spits flying 10 feet. Let humans neath carbon. Dinna ken if that's wise. Wanted to hunt monsters, eh?
Dwarves demonstrate innovative thinking in many domains. Metallurgy, engineering, architecture. Yet there is one in which they could not be bothered. Naming. For this reason, the bridge that linked the Mahakam Pass with Mount Carbon was simply named Langbridge. Meve learned it was a thoroughly fitting name. Having stopped for a breath halfway across the road suspended over a deep chasm, the Queen could see neither end of the bridge, both concealed by thick clouds.
Amazing.
Whispered the Queen.
I feel as though we traversed the very sky.
The Queen and her retinue were nearing Mount Carbon when Meve heard a cry. It was Xavier.
Hold! Hold!
Meve drew in her reins abruptly. Her mare neighed and reared, lifting the Queen above her formation of men. From that height, she saw the last pier of the bridge crumbling. The dwarves at the head of the procession were unable to stop in time and plummeted, screaming into the abyss.
What's the meaning of this, gods damn it?
Bruver roared.
Fetch the engineers! Now!
The Queen was striving to calm her spooked mount when she sensed something swish past her ear. Out of nowhere, a Scoia'tael band had appeared at the rear of the column. Before anyone could react, elven archers had felled the rear guard. The soldiers lay on the bridge's stone surface with arrows in their backs. Meve was trapped. In one direction lay the chasm, in the other, a fierce foe. She had no choice but to stand and fight.
Renna! You are mine!
We're trapped, Your Grace, but we can try and fight our way through.
Watch your heads!
Special prize, just for you, love.
I recognize the colours. They belong to Eldane.
Think you ballbags can do whatever the devils you please? This is Mahakam!
For you, pal! Anything.
Show me the coin or sod off.
I'll fight to my last breath.
Nay, Dwan vacamest.
Swords I smile at, weapons laugh to scorn.
Getting to work.
What? Oh, yes, I'm on it.
We must trust each other.
Catch!
I was hoping you'd say that.
Ever have a stone knock out one of your teeth?
Bloody neckhands. Similian Vat. Sorry, turnips back for an encore.
I shall not fail!
I've hit the white of an eye from half a league away.
No! Blederenna! She must die!
Their strength combined, the Lyrians and dwarves managed to defeat the Scoia'tael. The guerrillas had weakened the last span of the bridge, turning the crossing into a deadly trap. Had Xavier, who noticed the weakened structure at the last instant, not called out, all would have fallen into the chasm. The Lyrians managed to capture the unit commander. She stood, her head raised high, and when Meve glared at her, she did not avert her eyes.
What is your name, elf?
Abayeth me a parstwan.
She said,
Thank you, Reynard. I know well what she said. Kiss my arse, is that truly the best you can muster?
I'd rather show you exactly what I can muster. Tell them to unbind me.
You got your opportunity. On the battlefield. Will you not tell me what they call you? Fine. It's all the same to me. I'm more interested to know how you came to be here. Who sent you?
No one. It was my decision to kill you, and thus avenge Eldain. Do you remember him? The elf whom you denied a burial? Whom you left in an open field to rot? You've elven blood on your hands. The blood of the elves of the Moulderwood.
Eldain was a criminal. He got what he deserved.
You call him a criminal? What do you call humans who murder our kind in pogroms? Who massacre us? What do you call Black Rayla who fought at your side? Do not dare compare us. Do not dare!
Enough. I've heard all I wish to hear.
But I haven't.
I regret the events of the Moulderwood. I did not wish those elves' deaths. Yet they left me no choice.
What choice would you give a murderer who invaded your home?
You know I envy you. To see the world solely as black or white, it must simplify things so. Enough. I've heard all I wish to hear.
But I haven't. Did you fall in your heed, elf, eh? If you want to fight humans, go on and do it. You cannot talk sense to idiots and nae here, damn it. Mahakam is and will be neutral.
You cannot be neutral. To Dwan, you are either their foe or their dog. Mahakam has stood aside, sleeping long enough. That is why we struck it in its very heart, as a call to battle. A call to brethren whom you, Elder, have kept from the world too long.
I have kept him away. I've been bloody right to do so. You want to play at war, you numpties? You want to force the Pontar to flow upstream? Gang right ahead. Good riddance, I say. Gan kill, gan die if you fancy, but God's damn it, leave us alone! Yeah, I should kill you. With my own hands. I should cut your throat, put you out of your misery. That's what you want, innit? To die? To die a stupid death? Well, I'll not grant you that. Nay, nay, I'll lock you in a tower. Sit there 3 centuries, and you just might grow a brain!
Bruva Hoog gazed after the shackled elf as she was led away. Meve expected him to continue fuming, cursing her. But the dwarf stood silent, and his old eyes, half concealed by brows bushy as a forest floor, showed not anger, but the deepest sadness. Dwarven engineers made quick work of repairing the crumbled bridge span.
Look, Mount Carbon.
Damn. And I thought Novigrad was big.
Long-eared bastards, raising our own saplings against us in rebellion, sowing unrest, violence in the mountains. So the elves are against us, against our elder. Treacherous hounds.
The Lyrians stepped inside Mount Carbon's bowels. Meve rode while looking upwards, admiring the intricately carved ceiling, gilded walls, monumental bas-reliefs carved from basalt. Yet this was no time to admire the sights. Bruva Hoog had summoned her to speak.
I thank you for your invitation, Elder.
My invitation? Choice term, lass. You wangled your way in here. Long I've lived, but ne'er have I seen a wench so stubborn.
With all due respect, do you not feel like a pot conversing with a kettle?
Ha! True enough. Changes of mind didn't come easy to me. But they do come at times. Human wars concern me not at all. For so many they are, who could count them? Near a year goes by without one wanking king invading another's realm. A dog with scabies is less restless. That's why, this morning, I aimed to send you off with nothing. Mattered not what the clans were saying. Rivia, Schmivia, who gives a sheep's fart? But that was this morn, before that daft wench and her pups attacked. Nilfgaard supports the Scoia'tael, it's common knowledge. Nilfgaard uses them. Well, I'm nae worse, and I choose to use Queen Meave.
So what use would you make of me, if I might ask? You've a plan?
Aye, the kind dwarves like best. Simple, but sneaky. Like to give Nilfgaard a warning, you ken?
I shall be no one's tool, Broover. I fight for my land and my land alone. Lyria and Rivia.
Ah, keep your head. You can fight for a free warfield, far as I'm concerned. Doesn't matter. My aid doesn't come with conditions. Like to give Nilfgaard a warning, you ken? If you're going to rile my dwarves, throw 'em into the Scoia'tael ranks, you'll regret it, aye? But I'd like to issue the warning without declaring war. All clear to you so far? So, when you march out of Mahakam, you'll find a company of our foot dwarves waiting out with the gate. Officially, volunteers enlisting with you against my will. And you're to put them at the fore next time you face Nilfgaard. Want the Blackclads to break their teeth on our bucklers, get a taste of our axe blades. After that, dare say they'll think twice before they send more Scoia'tael into these hells.
I do not... Thank you, Elder. You restore my hope that I shall have my home back in the end.
Faith can move mountains, aye, but it can't do much about borders. I've watched you close, and must admit you're a plucky lass. That enough for Nilfgaard? Can I be sure?
We will see. We shall know soon. I would like to march at once. So by your leave...
Nay, not granted. At once? What's that mean? Our laws are clear. Guests are to be sent off with a thundering feast. Even the humans.
Broover, as was Broover's wont, insisted. So the Queen accepted the invitation, but as was her wont, set a condition. The feast was to last but one night, and not, as was the wont of local custom, an entire week. All clans were to be represented at the feast, save one, of course, the Zigrins. For they had already learned their punishment. The entire clan was banished from Mahakam. An exception was made for one of their number, for Gabor, who was beheaded before the day was done. Meave was on her way back to her company when who should step in front of her if not Gabor?
To what do I owe this pleasure? Do the Zigrins wish to use me once more? Accomplish aught else with my aid?
Could be, but if so, tain't none of my concern.
Why's that?
For I've resolved to leave Mahakam for all time.
And where will you go?
Dinna ken. Wherever you lead me.
I beg your pardon.
Your Grace. Meave. I betrayed your trust. Tricked you outright. In spite of that, you kept my confidence. Risking everything. To say I'm grateful is just a wee understatement. I'm indebted to you. Deeply so. Please let me pay it off. Let me fight at your side. Heat to hip with you.
Honor is a virtue we have but once, Gabor. You threw yours away, so I've no place for you in my force.
Your Grace, you must understand, I acted on the orders of my...
There is nothing I must, and that was my last word.
Gabor would have wished to say more, But in the end, he bit his moustache and walked away without another word. To where? Alas, that I do not know. The Lyrians were ready to leave Mahakam when they heard the sonorous blast of a commander's horn announcing the arrival of Bruver Hoog.
Oh, what does he want now?
When she saw a sour grin on his face, Meve knew the tidings were not good. But what she heard next exceeded her wildest expectations.
Come to say farewell? No need, truly.
Came 'cause I got a burning question. Meve, you expecting anyone?
Gabor, vindictive I am not.
Oh, thank you, Meve.
Yet neither am I stupid. You may join our ranks, I agree. Yet trick me once more, in the tiniest manner, and I shall show you no mercy. Is that clear?
Chastened, Gabor merely nodded to confirm. Meve extended her hand for the dwarf to kiss as a sign of submission. Yet he simply wrapped his arms around her waist and squeezed. When the sun had retired behind the peaks, the underground city came alive with the sound of bugles, bagpipes, and horns. The dwarves emerged out into the central square and danced exuberantly, sparks kicking up from their hobnail boots. The usually crabby Elder-in-Chief Hoog proved a cordial host that evening.
Let's drink, lest our neck shafts grow cobwebs!
Suddenly a messenger arrived. Bruver lifted his copper horn to his ear and listened with furrowed brow.
What's that? Speak up!
When she saw a sour grin on his face, Meve knew the tidings were not good. Yet she did not suspect they pertained to her directly.
Meve, you expecting anyone?
How's that?
Runner says a delegation's arrived at Carbon. Flylyria and Rivia. Got a Nilfgaardian escort.
How dare they? Traitors. Who leads it?
You'd best sit.
Who leads the delegation?
It's your son, Willem, I fear.
Willem?
Mahakam remains neutral as regards all your squabbles. I trust I needn't remind you. So I'll have no scrambling or shoving, and certainly no bloodshed. Point of fact, I'd prefer it if you...
I wish to speak to him.
I'd forbid you, but, as I said, never seen a more stubborn wench. Alrighty then, jabber away with him. Just remember, hands to yourself.
Meve spotted banners, a Lyrian eagle upon one surrounded by Nilfgaard's black rags. Her hands became fists, showing how helpless she felt. Then her son and rival, Willem, emerged from behind a row of Imperial footmen.
My. I should apologize. It seems I missed the coronation. Congratulations, my son. Who was it who placed the crown? General Epdahi?
Count Caldwell.
Ah, yes. Our elder statesman. Why have you come here, of all places? To acquire arms for Nilfgaard?
As my official mission, yes. Yet unofficially, I wish to speak with you. I trust you've had tidings from the field. Edirn turned to ash and dust. Vizimir murdered Redania in chaos. Foltest forced to strike a pact by his vassals betrayed, Henselt the same.
This limerick, will it come to a point?
Why, yes. To the same as this war. Mother, I beg you, you must see it. Nilfgaard's victory is inevitable. Surrender now, and I shall show you mercy. For later it'll be too late.
There will be no later. We shall repel them, drive them south at the points of our pikes.
This we, Mother? Who precisely do you mean? You stand alone.
I prefer to stand alone over standing with Nilfgaard, with the invader, as you do.
Mother, in declaring for the Empire, I saved the lives of thousands of our subjects.
And in so doing, our honor lost!
Folk who had their huts burned down care deeply about our honor. Is that truly your belief? When I was crowned, a fact you deride, though that makes it no less true.
An impression many might have indeed. Yet I've allies. Those long loyal, and those new.
Where, Mother? In Zerrikania? For here, in the north, why, there are none. The fight is done.
Your friends from Nilfgaard will learn that is simply not true. When their ignorance bites them in the arse.
So you aim to persist? Whatever for?
For our freedom. For independence.
Curious. I could have sworn it was for your ambition, to soothe your wounded pride. When I was crowned, a fact you deride, though that makes it no less true, I swore the good of my subjects would guide me. And a war we are doomed to lose cannot in any way benefit them.
And slavery can. You know well the Blackclads put peasants in chains, like cattle.
Reprehensible, I agree, but...
And resettlement? Forced labour? Cruel laws that make death the punishment for the slightest offences? Are those benefits? Well, answer me!
I see I will not sway you, Mother. A shame, though I take comfort in the fact I tried. And now, adieu.
Oh no, I, not you, will decide when this conversation is over.
Oh, have we anything else to discuss?
Are you perhaps aware that the Nilfgaardians tried to kill me?
What? No, I heard only about an avalanche.
Which tumbled down through no small effort of an Imperial envoy.
Never would I have agreed to such a heinous act.
I believe you.
I'm heartened that, despite all we...
I believe you because I believe the Nilfgaardians wouldn't ever have asked your opinion. Think on it, son. Are you their ally or their tool? Can you ever be sure?
I am the King of Lyria and Rivia. To serve my subjects' best interests, I am prepared to make even the most painful concessions. Might I leave now? Or is there more?
Naturally. How did you know you would find me here?
I received Nilfgaardian reports to the effect that you've been seen in the pass.
Oh, roses are red and so are your cheeks, my son. As ever when you're caught in a lie. Lyria is 2 weeks' travel hence. Had you received word only once I was here, we'd have been long gone from Mahakam by the time you assembled a force and completed the march. No. You were forewarned of our intended route. It means I've a traitor in my ranks. Another one. Get out of my sight, villain. And pray we only ever face one another on neutral ground.
Meve struggled inside not to turn and gaze once more at her son. He'd changed since they'd last faced each other, grown manlier, and he wore the crown well. The Queen returned to the banquet hall. Her advisors shot her questioning glances, curious what she had discussed with Bruver. But Meve decided to keep the details to herself. One of them wore a Nilfgaardian lead around his neck. Until she knew who, she would have to remain vigilant.
Feasting's done, Reynard. We must consider our next move.
I've thought on it, Your Grace. We've strength enough to hit the foe, but still not the numbers to face him in open battle.
So what do you propose?
This war we cannot win alone, nor even with the dwarves at our side. But if we secure a victory, small yet symbolic, we shall show the other realms of the north all is not yet lost. Thus, I propose we attack behind the front lines, somewhere well clear of any major Imperial force.
Where would you suggest?
I'm considering Angren. To begin with, a thickly wooded marshy land, always helpful in clandestine operations. Secondly, the land strategically important, as it's the chief source of building material for Nilfgaard's fleets.
All too little, I fear. Since we require a victory that would be symbolic, we must strike where it shall hurt, and Angren...
Just recently welcomed a new regent, in the person of Count Coldwell, my third argument. Naturally, if your Majesty wishes, I'm prepared to present alternatives to this.
No need. We march at dawn.
Meve had toiled, cajoled, persuaded, and gained the dwarves' support. She left Mahakam strengthened, markedly. Even so, the Queen was in a foul mood. For it was clear a traitor, a viper, nested among the Lyrians. Someone who had conveyed the Queen's plans to her foe. From this moment on, Meve would need to weigh every word she uttered, even in the presence of her closest associates.
Your Grace, we must plot our course forward. Shall we take the western passage into Angren, or...
Not now.
When, then? Dawn approaches, yet we know nothing of where...
I will not repeat myself.
The Queen knew she would learn the traitor's identity in the end. If need be, she would tear the name from the throat of another turncoat, Count Caldwell. Meve drooled at the prospect of seeing Caldwell in chains, then passing him to the hangman.
Saddle the horses. I shall take the fore.
The time for diplomacy, for preparations and negotiations had gone. Meve was to attack her foe at last, and she could not wait to do so.